Are you in a hurry to learn Microsoft Excel? Well, you're in the right place. Hi, I'm Jamie and welcome to Teachers Tech and welcome to my Microsoft Excel Express tutorial. We're going to cover a lot of information in a very short amount of time. We're going to start at the basics but level all the way up so that you're feeling confident by the time you leave today. Let's get started. In today's Microsoft Excel tutorial, I'm going to be working on Excel from my Microsoft 365 subscription. It's something I pay for. It gives me access to all of the Microsoft different apps I need. But if you don't have access to this, let me show you how you can get Excel for free. Go ahead and open a browser like Microsoft Edge or Google Chrome and type excel.new. Go ahead, hit enter. Now this brings me to Excel Online. I already have a Microsoft account, so it went right into it. But if you don't, it's going to ask you to go ahead and create one, and you can do this all for free. And then you're going to be able to follow along with me today. When you launch Microsoft Excel, you're greeted with this page. You can go ahead and create a brand new blank workbook from clicking here, or if you want to jumpstart, take a look and explore through the different templates. Down below, you'll see that you can open your most recent workbooks for quick access, or you can have them pinned, or you'll have access to the shared with me. If you go to new, you're going to see a different way you can open the workbook from blank or explore the different templates. Open will allow you to explore things like your PC or your OneDrive to find the file that you need to open. I'm going to go back to home and create a brand new blank workbook. When I created this blank workbook, it was created with one sheet. What you're seeing with all these rectangles here is the first sheet. Take a look down below at the bottom. It says sheet 1. I can create more than one sheet in this workbook. If I hit the little plus here, it will become another one, sheet 2. You can rename these as well. So if I double click on sheet 1, I could call this demo, and now I've renamed it. I can jump back and forth. On each of these sheets, you're going to see a bunch of these rectangles. Now, they're going to be inside the columns, which are shown by the letters up top, and the rows, which are the numbers on the side. If I click in any spot where the row and the column intersect, that is going to be the cell. So right now I'm in C4, and you can see that up here in the name box, whatever one I click on, it changes to that name. You can actually rename it from here. Right now, this sheet is quite tiny, and I don't like to work when it's that small. If I want to zoom up, take a look at the bottom right-hand corner. Right now, I'm at 100%. I can increase this, and you can see how the cells increase, which may make it easier to work for you. Let's go ahead and start entering in some data. But first of all, I want to have a header row. I'm going to go and click in A1 and type in employee name. I want a capital here, so I'm going to go back. If I hit enter, notice that it drops to the cell below it, but you can also use tab, and that will go to the right, and you could also use the arrow keys or click on whatever cell you want after you type in. Now, if I click on B1 here, you can see I'm in B1, I could type my next one if I type region. This didn't delete what was in A1. If I click on A1, notice it still says employee name in the formula bar. If I click on B1, it says region. It's because this column isn't wide enough. Now, if I just hover in between here, I can drag the column wider. Notice that how it's getting wider. Or if I double click on it, it automatically adjusts to what it needs to. I'm going to show you a little later how we can do all the columns at once. So I'm going to click in C1 and type in month, hit tab, and we'll go with sales. And I want one more. It's going to be bonus. I went through and entered a bunch of records here. If you want to follow along now, I have this down below in the description, this workbook where you can click on it and download it so you don't have to type this all out and practice with what I show you. Notice right away that this is all squishy, and I did this on purpose so that you can adjust this. If I go ahead and click on this, this will select the entire sheet. All I have to do is go in between any of the columns and double click, and it will adjust all the different columns width to fit at once. The next thing, quickly, if you want to adjust any of the formatting, let's say if you want to have across the top it being bolded, I could click on a single cell or go across and select multiple cells to get a range and apply formatting, let's say bold or italic, or I could change the font or the font size, change the color of the font, or even the background through here. Remember, you do have the undo or Control Z as the shortcut, which is a lot more efficient. If I click on it a few different times, it goes back to remove them. Now this is still selected. I could go to Cell Styles and apply a style quickly. So as I hover over, it shows what it looks like. If I choose this, that style is applied to that region that I had. If you've decided you need to add another row, you can go ahead and do this quickly to wherever you need it. If I click on number 1 and notice that the whole row is selected, I can right click on the number 1 and click Insert. This inserts a row above here. Now I can go and put some more information if I wanted it to be titled. I can also, if I select multiple rows and do the insert, that's how many rows will get inserted. And I can do the delete also. If you need to delete any rows, you can select and you can right click and delete. This works the same with columns. So if I highlight 2 columns and go insert, it inserts the 2 columns as needed. Now another thing you can do, in this case, if you wanted to merge and center across the top here, what I can do is if I highlight through here from A to E, notice that we have this. This is merge and center. Yeah, if I drop down, you can see how you have a few different options. You can even unmerge the cells after to split the cells. But if I just go merge and center, it will take that text I have from A1, it merged those cells together and placed it on top. In Microsoft Excel, there's many ways to do the same thing. So I've showed you to delete or insert columns or rows by right-clicking, but we can also take a look in the ribbon. The ribbon is this area up top. These are the tabs. As I click on each of the tabs, the ribbon changes. So if I go to the Home tab and look in the ribbon over here, notice that in cells, I have delete. So I could go ahead and click on delete sheet rows. Now that row is deleted just like I showed you before the other method. And I'm going to leave that deleted because I don't want it in my as I move forward. Now another thing, if I wanted to format row height or column width, you can see I can do it from here as well. Let's go and do some formatting to the numbers here. If I go and highlight these numbers here, if I take a look in the ribbon under the number category here, I can apply, let's say, 1,000 separator. So if I click this, it quickly adds the comma to show the 1,000 separator. Notice it has the 2 decimals. If you want to increase or decrease decimals, you can just click on these. If you want to decrease or increase, you can make those quick changes. We can quickly change it to % format or the dollar. So if I click on dollar, it changes it over to the dollar here. If I drop down, you can look at certain countries' dollars if you need to use that. I do want to point out, if you ever see this, so these hashtags or number signs in here, all that means is that there's not enough room and you have to make the adjustment on the column width, because as soon as I make sure that it's enough room, you'll see that they all go away. So a lot of people do ask, where does that come from? It's just formatting the width of the cell so it fits in. Another thing you might want to do is change the location of a column or row. So if I go ahead and highlight this sales here, I can move it to a different place. So I have it highlighted. I'm going to hold Shift down on my keyboard. And as I bring my mouse, notice how it changes to the crosshairs changed it. Now I can click and left click on my mouse and hold and drag it over. I've just moved sales over here. So I can adjust it just like I showed you before to make sure it fits. I'm going to go Control Z just to move it back. You can also do this with rows. So if I select this where it says Dwight Schrute and hold Shift down, and as I go in between, notice how it changes. I can drag this down in a different location. I'm going to go Control Z just to put it back again. So take advantage of that little tip to quickly change rows or columns locations. A powerful feature of Microsoft Excel is the ability to be able to sort and filter your data. So if I go up to the Data tab right here and looking in the ribbon, and you can see that there's sort and filter. If I click on sort, and I'm clicked inside this range here, but if I now choose, let's say if I wanted to have employee name, and I'm going to leave this the same. I'm just going to leave it as cell values here, and I'm going to leave the order A to Z. If I hit OK, now it took all the different names and sorted all their information based on alphabetical here. So it's a quick way to just get things organized in your data. What I like are filters. If I click on filter up top and I'm clicked in this top row over here with the headers, it quickly gives me these drop downs. So if I was going to go, let's say, to region, and I don't want all of them selected, if I click on this again, nothing selected, I want to see north. And if I click OK, now it's only showing me the north. If I go up top, notice that there's clear. And I click clear and it will put it back. But maybe I wanted to see the month and I could go select all, it's all clear, but I want to see March and February and hit OK. So now it goes through and puts it through here, and then I could go and sort this as well. If I go and clear this and I click on filter again, you're going to notice that this is gone. Those little drop downs are gone from the headers. Another way to visualize data is through conditional formatting. So let's use these numbers again here. So if I highlight this range and I'm under the Home tab in the ribbon Conditional Formatting. Conditional formatting allows me to apply a color or formatting to based on what I tell it. So if I go to color scales and I just hover over, you'll see it shows me what it would be. The green in this case being the lowest, and this one, the red's the lowest, and the green's the highest. So it will scale these up. But I could also go and give it rules. And if I pick, I want it to be greater than, and we'll say I want it to be greater than, let's say 7,000. And what do I want to have happen? I wanted a green fill with dark text. So as soon as I apply this, I can hit OK. So now anything above 7,000 has that color applied to it. So conditional formatting is a great way to really just take your data so you can quickly look at it and read what it's telling you. Let's move over to formulas and functions, but let's first clear this conditional formatting. If I go up to conditional formatting again and clear rules, I'm going to go from entire sheet and it's gone. Formulas in its simplicity. Let me give you an example. If I type 5 plus 7 and hit enter, nothing happens. 12 doesn't appear. When you're entering a formula in any cell, you always need to use the equal sign first to get it recognized as a formula. I'm just going to hit backspace or delete. Now I'm going to put my equal sign in and do the same thing. Let's go 5 plus 7 and hit enter. This time it performed that operation. So if I click on it, if I take a look, this is where you're going to see the formula up top here. You can see equals 5 plus 7. I could go up here. If I wanted to make a change, if I put this to 10, it will reflect down here. But this isn't how we really want to use formulas. I'm going to delete this in Microsoft Excel. A better way would be to use cell referencing. What I mean by that is if I put the equals in and I click on this cell, so I'm referencing D3, and now I use, let's say we'll keep with just the addition, and I click on this cell, and I'll do one more, and we'll click on this cell. I could keep doing this more and more and more, and I could hit enter, and it added up all of those. If I click on this, it shows me in the formula bar. If I double click on this, it will show me the formula right here. So if I hit enter, it goes out of it. But now take a look at this. If I go to D3 and watch how fast this number drops, I'm going to put 100 in here. So as soon as this gets entered in, this changes. So that's why cell referencing is a much better way to do this. But an even better way is to use the functions. I'm just going to go Control Z, put this back, and hit delete. So there's different ways we can get to functions, and I'm going to show you up top with the tabs. If we go to formulas, and we have some quick ones to use. So I'm going to go and click on the bottom here. And take a look at this. We have auto sum. If I do a drop down, we can go through and find different ones here. But if I just click on sum, It recognizes, just based on these being numbers, it's saying sum D2 to D21. If I hit enter, it sums up everything here. If something changes here, it automatically gets reflected down at the bottom. So a lot easier than saying this plus this plus this plus this. So I can quickly change this. If I wanted to see even an average, I can do that. If I wanted to see min or max, there's lots of different ones I can quickly do. Now there's lots of different formulas here as well. So if I start dropping down, if I was doing logical, and I'm going to show you how to do an if one, a very simple one, in a moment here. We can do things like math or trig, lookup and reference. VLOOKUP is a very popular one. I have lots of tutorials on all these different things that I'll make sure I put down below in the description and up above in the card. But if we want to now, let's say, I'm going to go back and just delete this spot here, and we'll go back to this spot. If I type equals, and I could just start typing sum, and this is going to give me a sum way to get to it. I could select it and then select my range and hit enter. So that's another way you could do this. I'm going to hit delete on this. Another way, you'll notice up here, insert function. I could click on it. I could go search for something. So if I was looking for a sum, I could hit go. There's my sum. I'll select it. I hit OK. What do I want to sum? This will walk me through step by step the way to use that certain function. So this is a great way. When I go OK at the end, it performs that. Now these are simple ones. So I mentioned the if function. If I wanted to say yes or no on here, when I apply a function, I want to say if this is above 5,000, give them bonus. And I just want this to say yes. If not, say no. Let's go ahead and put our if formula function inside this cell here. I'm going to go and insert it, insert function. The if is right here. I could do a search, but I already see it. Hit OK. The logical test, I'm going to just click on this arrow. I'm going to select the cell. I'm going to say if D2 is greater, so I'll put the greater than 5,000, and I'm going to hit enter, and it goes back. What do I want to have happen if it is greater than 5,000? I want it to say yes. What do I want to have happen if it's the other? So if the other is going to be below 5,000, I want it to say no. So I hit OK. This is my formula up top here. So if D2 is greater than 5,000, say yes. Otherwise, say no. And that's what it's doing right now. If I want to copy this down, I can drag this down. So this is no. I could drag it down again. Notice it says yes. And take a look at this. So as I click on each one, D3, D4, it's automatically copying down to the right cell. I can double click on this green square in the corner and the autofill will go down. If you want to save yourself a lot of time, get used to using autofill and flash fill. I got a whole video on that. That will make you look like a pro. I'll put the link down below. Now I want to show you the power of using tables in Microsoft Excel. First of all, I'm going to delete this function that I have down here. And now I'm going to apply a table. If I go to Insert and take a look at the ribbon, I have Table. Notice the shortcut Control T. I'm going to select this. It automatically detects where my range is. You can see A1 to E21. Does my table have headers? Yes. I'm going to hit OK. Notice right away how it just makes it easier to read. I can quickly change the formatting on it by clicking the table styles up top. It has the filters like I showed you before how we added, but this automatically comes with it. I won't go through and sort this way. It works the same. If I'm at the very bottom and if I'm adding, let's say, another row, if I just hit tab, it automatically adds it with the correct formatting, and it even copied down that the function that we had here automatically. So it makes it great to add more information in. Another thing that I really like, and notice when we have the table created, we have this new tab called Table Design. I can go ahead and click on this and to add banded total rows. So this gives me this at the very bottom. If I click on this right here, let's go where the total is. I have this drop down. If I select it, I can choose what I would like here. So the list is even longer at the bottom. So if I wanted to do my let's say my average, there it goes here. So if I want to do my sum, I can quickly add it. So I don't even have to go through and create use my formulas and functions like I showed you before. If you want to turn off the banded rows, you can see how I can just click them on and off. But these tables make it great because then when you use the tables, you can also see your charts and pivot tables update automatically. And I'm going to show you how to do that in this tutorial. Let's visualize data with a chart in Excel. I could apply it to this information, but I think it'll work better with this data here. So if you're in the practice file, just click chart at the bottom and we have some information here. First of all, I notice that I don't have the months across. With autofill, if I select this, January, and just drag across, it will automatically fill that in. Now I want to chart this. I'm going to select this area and go to Insert. We have recommended charts. We do have the other charts we could pick, but I like starting from recommended. It suggests charts that I could use here. If I go to all charts, I could switch on any of them as I go through. I think a bar one like this will work the best. This one is by the months, and this is by the person here. So let's say I choose this one here and I hit OK. It quickly gets added in. I can make some adjustments to this. Maybe I want this to be a different title. And if I look up top, when I click on this in the up top under the chart design, and we see in the ribbon, I can quickly format it. So if I drop down, you see all the different options that I have if I check this one. So I can quickly add the chart to visualize the data, and I can go through and customize it the way I'd like. I've showed you a number of different ways to visualize your data and drill down to see what it means. Now I want to show you how to use pivot tables in Excel. This is probably the most powerful way to really find out what your data can tell you. Inside this table that we've created, I want to go to Insert, and we can see Pivot Table right here. I'm going to just select from Table or Range. So a range would have been if we didn't have it in table, but we have it in table, so I'm going to go ahead and just select it. The table name is Table 4, that's what I called it, and it's going to be created on a new worksheet. You could go on existing worksheet if you want. I'm going to say New Worksheet, and I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to go ahead and get zoomed up on this so we can see a bit better. And now if I look over here on the right to Pivot Table Fields, I'm going to click Employee Name. When I click on it, it gets added right up here. So we have the different names of the people on the table. Now, if I go ahead and click on Region, it gets added also to the rows here. If I don't want the region to be in the rows, I can just simply drag it over to the columns. I kind of like this look. I'm going to leave it here. So I have East, North, West, and grand total. Now I want to have sales. So if I click sales, it quickly gets added. You can see again how quickly you can analyze this data by just selecting the fields that you want. I could also choose month. So if I go ahead and click on month, now if I look at the data, we can see it broken down by person, by month, by region over here. I'm going to just unclick month here, and I'm going to add month to filters. So with month and filters, it places it up top. So I can go and drop down and search for, let's say, February, hit OK. So I'm looking through the different regions of the different salespeople for February. I hope this gives you an understanding of how pivot tables work and how powerful they are. Make sure you take a look at this other tutorial I have where I dive much deeper into this. I hope this Microsoft Excel Express tutorial has helped you out. It's got you feeling confident and good about learning Excel, and you want to learn even more. Make sure you check out those other tutorials that I've mentioned throughout this tutorial here today. Thanks for watching this time on Teachers Tech. I'll see you next time with more tech tips and tutorials.